Hello, it's Aenslee Tanner here, back with another video for you as part of my New Year's challenge to do these daily Facebook Live videos on various topics related to your career and leadership development. And today I wanted to talk to you about the topics of horizontal versus vertical leadership development. Now, the reason that this concept is important or relevant for you today is because, as you may have heard me speak about before, we're finding ourselves and facing an increasingly rapid pace of change. You know, the pace of change is not linear, it's exponential, and we're feeling ourselves, really in this day and age being overwhelmed with how quickly things are moving. There's also increasing complexity that we're being asked to deal with, and increasing diversity in our teams and communities and the globalized work environments that we're finding ourselves working in. So these changing contexts place different demands upon individuals and in particular leaders in organizations. And so the distinction between horizontal and vertical leadership development is useful for considering how you want to help people change to be able to deal with these new environments. So when we talk about horizontal development, we're kind of talking about your typical kind of training programs. We're talking about increasing somebody's knowledge or skills or the tools in their toolkit. Okay, so these are really kind of technical changes that we'd want somebody to make, right? Versus vertical development, this has to do with changes to how somebody's showing up, who they're being, right? How they're behaving in situations. This has to do more, less with what they know, as with horizontal leadership development, but more about how they know what they know, right? And what they're able to do with it. Okay, so Nick Petrie, who has written a white paper on this topic for the Center for Creative Leadership, likens these forms of development to the metaphor of a cup. So if you imagine a leader's mind as a cup, horizontal leadership development is equivalent to pouring more knowledge into the cup or more skills in there, right? But when we look at vertical leadership development, what we're talking about is not just pouring more stuff into the cup, but actually expanding the size of the cup, creating more capacity to do different things with all that increasing knowledge and so forth. So an ability to deal with more diverse perspectives, to handle greater complexity, right? So it's important if you're considering how to develop yourself or a member of your team that you make the distinction about what kind of a change am I looking for in this individual, right? Is it a technical change where horizontal development might be useful, or is it an adaptive change I'm looking for in this individual, in which case vertical development might be more appropriate? So just for a few specific examples, if there's a member of your team who needs to use a particular computer program and they don't know how, what you're looking for there is a technical change. You want them to have the knowledge to be able to use this program and the skills to be able to execute on that knowledge, right? So in this case, you might send them on a particular training program where they get the knowledge and the skills. You make sure that they get that tool installed on their computer. They have what they need now to be able to deliver on that. So horizontal development is, to get that technical change is perfectly suited to that kind of a situation. Now, if you have a situation where you have an individual, say a team leader in your organization who you'd like to be, who needs improvements on giving feedback to the members of their team, maybe more constructively or giving feedback at all, right? Now, if you were to send that person on a course to learn how to give feedback, you might find that when they come back into the work environment, even though they have the knowledge, they're not actually executing on it. Why not? They don't yet have the capacity maybe developed to be able to do anything with that knowledge, right? They need to expand that cup and that capacity to have courageous conversations, to be able to show up differently in that interaction with one of their staff members, right? So in that case, it might not the technical training on how to deliver feedback might not be sufficient for getting the change that you're looking for, right? You need this person to adapt, to change who they're being, how they behave in these feedback situations. And so therefore, what you're going to want to do is increase that person's capacity. So you'd be looking more for a vertical leadership development intervention for this individual. That's going to be more useful there. So hopefully that gives you an an overview of what the difference might be, some things to look out for. If you have any questions, I'm happy to go into more depth in a future video. Just leave me some comments and I'll be happy to come back to you. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you again in another video soon. Bye, guys.